I'm here with Miriam today, and we're going to be going over some of the operational details of the Refund Specialist system. Now, one of the big questions we get from our inquiries is this a franchise model?
No, it's not. It's actually very similar to what a franchise model would be, in the sense that you get a full business system, okay, that is that's got a step-by-step guide to setting up, first educating you obviously, then helping you know how to set up, giving you options to set up, and then launching you into a business model. Where it actually differs to a traditional franchise is that we utilize something called a licensing system, which basically means you can use our content, our IP, our information under license to enable you to set up a refund service and to be able to practice as a refund specialist. However, franchises tend to be run under the franchisor's label, while this is something that allows you to be independent. A franchise generally has a very high upfront cost, while this is absolutely minimal for the value that you get. When you look at a franchise, you've got a percentage of all your takings are always assigned to the franchisor. So you have to give generally anywhere between 10 to 20% of your annual revenue to the franchise. And in our model, we don't do that. We won't go in there and get into your pocket and take away your earnings once you've set up your business. So our model is very simple. You pay for the business system, you pay for what you use, and that's it. There's no, monthly marketing fees like the franchise model. There's none of this kind of complicated sleight of hand things. We've tried to keep it as simple and as honest as, as genuine as possible, so that you get that advantage.
So you mentioned some of the costs there of being involved in a franchise business. What other costs, what are the actual costs involved in starting this refund specialist business?
Well, really minimal cost, right? Not all businesses are created equal. Not all businesses actually cost you the same, and there's not enough honest information out there to discuss it. So, when you talk about the refunding sector, it's absolutely beautiful. You've got zero marketing cost. Do you know what that means? That means 30% upfront in profits, okay? You've got no client acquisition cost. Again, that's advertising. Non-existent, because our customers are a captive audience. They owed money. We know who they are. What are your costs then? Your costs are, your initial registration. So if you're going to be, a sole trader, that's about $120 to $180. Nothing in real terms when you talk about, business costs. If you're going to set up as a company or another entity, it might be up to $500. Single cost, not annual. If you're running, your website, which is something that we assist you with, you are maybe spending total of, a few $100s per year. So, your total annual cost might be around the $2,000. Now let's bring that up and get a reality check. A micro business in Australia, New Zealand, America or the UK, micro business will not cost you anything less than $10,000 per month to be operational, okay? That's if you're acquiring customers, that's if you've got a brand presence, that's if you're actually open for business. So when you compare that to being a refund specialist and having a refund service, it is insanely attractive. So worth thinking about.
Okay, so we've talked about the cost. Let's look at the really juicy stuff now. What's the average income of a refund specialist?
Look, average income. People ask that all the time. Honestly, in your first year, what can you make? You can very easily, be learning and earning, because there is a learning curve, okay, you can be starting at around the 50,000. By second year, you should be able to very comfortably double that. Can you start and be, at 6 figures within 18 months? Absolutely. Did people do it? Yes. And I've done that in this industry. Is that something that everyone does? No. So it's very much dependent. What hours are you putting in? Some people do it as a side hustle, not as a full-time business. They're happy to have, $40,000, $50,000 extra every year coming in comfortably. There are, young mums that actually have their babies, and that was kind of my journey initially, that perfectly happy to just replace a good wage. Is that a bad thing? It's phenomenal. Can you actually gear it up into an absolute monster of very high 6 figures? Absolutely. How do you do that? The Refund Specialist System is an absolute smorgasbord of how to gear up or gear down your business to suit your needs. And that is truly what makes it a real lifestyle business.
So it sounds like there's a lot of potential for success in the refund business compared to other businesses. Would that be the case?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, when you look at business, I always think, of risk. So, I came from very traditional, I was a business trainer to start off with, and I wanted something that made sense. And this absolutely makes sense because when you remove your client acquisition, your marketing, and your general overheads, be it, having to have an office and staff and rents and, extra electricity, extra this, extra, when you remove that, which is the case here in, being a refund specialist and having that service, you suddenly have removed your business risks. What does that mean? That means you can afford more profits, you can afford to take more risks in the sense that you can work, a lot harder, and that money, goes straight to you as profit. And, you've got a lot of businesses that make great turnover, and at the end of the day, okay, you find the director barely making a wage. So, this is not this kind of business. This business is pure profits because it's risks, it's financial risks, it's legal risks, it's general overheads are negligible. I won't say zero, but very close to that.
So how long does the refund process take from start to finish?
It's kind of really dependent on the time of the year, the trust authority, how much of a backlog they've got. Generally, they talk about 28 days. Okay, is that really 28 days as a start to finish process? No, it's 28 days from when you actually are lodging for the refund to when you're likely to get it. In instances, many instances, hundreds. In my case, I've seen funds arrive inside of 2 weeks. Beautiful. And others, I've had a delay of up to 6 weeks. So that's kind of your lag time, depending on what's happening. Is it a busy season? Is it a slack season, etc.?
Now, we know that the refund specialist system can operate across several jurisdictions here. What's the difference is there a difference between processing a refund nationally and processing one internationally?
Very little difference because you're working within a certain set framework. It's a framework where you are handling a refund process. It's generally a very tight administrative process, which you learn as part of your refund specialist system. So, does it make a difference if you're doing it, within Australia, or whether you're processing it across, in California, or whether you're processing it, in Canada? Not really. It's the same administrative process. Definitely you're doing, slightly different things because the requirements might differ, but in reality, there is no real difference And, it's a skill set that you learn, and it's something that, is definitely worth the effort.
So we've talked about the average income. So obviously this comes from a commission, is that right? What sort of commission can you expect to make as a refund specialist?
The program covers hugely, how to operate. What are your options? How do you want to run this? What do you want to do with your service? And that is the beauty of it. We actually give you the options. We give you the examples. We tell you, this is how I preferred it. This is how, Abby did it. This is how, Anna did it. But you've got the option of how to actually customize your business and your, your commission structures. You can start charging between certain amounts, and definitely, we do advocate between 10 and 30%. I think going over 30% is slightly on the greedy side, but there are so many options as to how you actually can also charge for your service, and all of that is part of what you do with your learning in the business system. Yeah.
Now, is there a lot of competition out there? What's the competition like? Is everybody chasing the same clients?
Absolutely not. It's massive. It is absolutely massive. It's just a bit of a monster. The pie is, globally $90 billion. Let me say that again, $90 billion. Now, it can get very, very rich, doing amazing work, helping, mums and dads, small businesses get money that, is rightfully theirs, that they deserve. And so there's that satisfaction there. Now, is there competition? No, because the system is set up that once the refund is complete, that particular case is closed for you. So it's not like, you're going chasing your tail. Is there a little bit of competition? There is a tiny bit, and I think that's healthy. I think any business that has no competition is a dead business. So, you got to be clever and weigh it up. Do I think it's the best business on the planet? Absolutely.
And it sounds like it would be a great business for anyone who doesn't want to be involved in anything too salesy. Would that be right, that it's
Absolutely.
a good fit for people like this?
Absolutely. I had a really strict tick list. Okay, I didn't want anything that's salesy. I didn't want to sell or be involved in multi-level, Tupperware, Avon, none of that stuff. I didn't want to have to flog some, garbage to, my family or friends. Like, that was just not my thing, and I didn't want to go there. I actually wanted something that I can be proud of. I want something that I can be a professional at. I am a professional by qualification, and so I wanted to carry that into my kind of freedom business, and I wanted something that I could be kind of satisfied doing. I know that I am serving the community. I am actually doing something of service, and at the same time, it's uncapped. Can it make me a millionaire? It has. Can it actually satisfy my need to be someone that is of servitude to others? Yes. So it's ticked massive amounts of boxes. Has it got no risk for me as an operator? Yes, tick. So these are the things that you need to think about and weigh up when you're considering our beautiful little niche sector.
Terrific. Now, are there any options to upgrade from one level of the system to a higher level?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got, at the moment, we've got 3 levels to the refund specialist system, and it's basically, the Australian program that's, domestic only, or you've got, your international program, and there's, a whole heap of different values and modules and bits of information in there. And there's a third program that's called the Ultima, which is kind of like a monstrosity where a lot of the work is kind of done for you, where there's massive amounts of support, where there's everything and the kitchen sink thrown in there. So there's 3 levels, depending on what your needs are. Me as an operator, if I would have had this wonderful program when I started, I would have probably gone with the first 2, because I don't need the hand holding, but a lot of people do, and it's fine. that's dependent on your needs. So you can have a good look at what's actually included in the programs, and depending on where you're at, you can actually start at one level and upgrade to anything you want, and that happens all the time. So we've actually got the system where we can upgrade you very quickly within 24 hours. So absolutely.
Terrific. Now, can you briefly discuss the 3 different options in the Refund Specialist system and the jurisdictions that are related to them?
Okay, so I've kind of covered a little bit in just now, but you've got your what we call the Australian domestic, which is Australia-wide only. It's if someone just wants to get a feel for the industry in Australia. This program is Australia-based, but it actually covers 5 total jurisdictions. In the internet, and the second level is called the international, which is basically Australia, New Zealand, the USA, monster market, the UK, another lovely little niche, and Canada. Okay, and so the international program is for people that are like, okay, you know what, I really want to start with a global vision. And that was very much myself. I don't want to restrict myself. I want to be able to have those options available. I want to be able to see that from day one, and that way I can plan my business as an international, regardless of how I want to start. That is a really fantastic option. And the third option is the Ultima, which is international with additional skill development modules that really help you step by step with all the required skill sets, all the pieces of kind of the skill sets that are desperately needed, and there's specialist modules added to give you that skill set very quickly, and that is included in the Ultima. There's also website and branding development, there's additional support, etc. And that covers the 5 jurisdictions, okay, with the setup from day one towards those 5 jurisdictions, being able to operate in that. But whichever option you choose, it's, unbeatable, really.
Well, thanks for that, Miriam. That last expansion on the jurisdictions and the different options was great. And thanks for your time today. And if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to email us or give us a call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.